Monday morning, everyone. That was a rocky start. So I am going solo with the exception of my daughter who made a joke earlier saying she is not up to par with Eric when it comes to the technical aspects. So sorry for all of that. Eric is not here. He's actually in Mobile, Alabama at the moment. Hi, honey. He said, yes, hello. So sorry about that. We're going to talk a little bit more about where Eric is at the moment and why he's not here in our What's Brewing segment. But for now, we're just going to kind of, I'm going to like calm down because I'm all stressed out like technology and buttons and things. So sorry about all that. But, you know, hey, maybe if you're joining us late, you got to chuckle a little bit. So, how is everyone this morning? We are gearing up for a very fun week. We'll again talk about it later, but pretty soon I'll have my son here and his dog. So that's going to be super exciting for us. We have lots going on in our family, lots going on in real estate. But first we're going to talk about the mug of the day. So here is my mug of the day. So if any of you don't know what this is Longaberger. So I don't even think Longaberger's in business anymore, but it was the big like wicker, for lack of probably the appropriate term to describe their baskets and such. But I used to have a gazillion of them. I still do kind of, scattered around the house. But this was a Longaberger coffee mug. And it is actually one of my favorite mugs. Now, I only wish I had them in blue. And since the company is no longer in business, I can't get them. So if anybody has any blue mugs you want to donate, let me know. But here's why I like this mug. So do you see the way it's shaped? So this little curve right here, it just kind of helps keep the heat of the coffee in. So in my opinion, it stays warmer a little bit longer. So I'm just going to say that. And by the way, coffee is pretty good this morning. There's always that fine line. Did you get the right amount of the sugar-free creamer and all of that fun stuff? And it's the right color and it actually tastes pretty good. All right, guys. So we are going to see who we've got today. Hi, Rob. How are you? I'm loving it. Hi, guys. Trina, nice. This is so cool. I love this. So don't forget before we start, if you have questions, and we are going to try to address a few questions that we may not have been able to get to the last time. Still getting the hang of this. So if I miss it, there's a lot kind of that happens in the little comment section. So if I missed yours, don't worry. I will try to go back and answer it either privately to you or on the next coffee time. So we'll get to some of those. But if you do have a question, don't forget to in the comment section do a capital Q with a colon, and that will just help me go back and search through those comments a little bit faster. Good morning, Sydney. She is our dear friend. I love it. Hey, Rob. Hi, Lisa. Susie Q. Actually, I have a question that you had asked on one of these coffee times that we're going to go back and address this time. So if I ever don't get to it, again, my apologies. It's just because, hi, Deb, and Kelly, and Tawanda, and Rhonda. Oh my gosh, so fun. Oh, Longaberger. Longaberger is open, though. I'm not sure if it's the same family. Yeah, I don't know. I just remember their big, massive warehouse was shaped like a big wicker basket. And I mean, I don't have any or see any of the little magazines laying around anymore, but I will say my favorite thing are my Longaberger coffee mugs. So again, if you have them in blue, anyone, let me know because it will match my house a little bit better than the burgundy ones, but it's okay. Okay, so don't forget Q colon. If you've got some questions, we'll try to address those. But for now, let's kind of go ahead and let's start with what's brewing because there's a lot of good stuff to talk about. Oops, and it just went away. I don't know. See, technical difficulties. It just went black on me. Anyway, okay, so let's do our what's brewing. We'll come back. We're going to talk about a few of those topics and we're going to get ourselves going. Okay, so, and by the way, I want to say hi to Carrie. Carrie, we're going to talk about, you'll see the second little topic there in our What's Brewing is new listings. So we're going to be discussing yours a little bit too. So what's brewing? So we're going to talk about the long drive. And when I say a long drive, I mean that, so Eric and our son Forrest are driving back. So if you've been following, you know, our oldest son named Forrest lives in Texas, just outside of Austin. We sold his home recently. He moved there 2 years ago. We timed this sale and this closing 2 years in one day to avoid the capital gains tax. He has purchased a home back home in Virginia, actually in the Richmond area. We'll be closing on that in the middle of July. But until then, I get to have him here. So they have packed his pod, they've packed his home, and they are on their way here. They drove a long time yesterday, and they will be driving the remainder of that trip today. I did the calculation from Google Maps. So from his home, 1,108 miles is what they had to drive, which is 17 hours-ish, nonstop, obviously. And of course, they have a dog with them, and they're human, so they have to stop. So really, really long drive. They drove a good portion of it yesterday. Right now, they're in Mobile, Alabama. That's where they stayed the night, and then they'll be heading here for the rest of the day. Hopefully, as soon as this coffee time is over, they'll get in the car and they'll come home because I'm so excited to see them and be with them. We are going to have, at that point, 4 dogs in the house and a cat. But I couldn't be happier. So we're excited about that. So that is the longest drive. So that's why we're having the little bit of technical difficulties because my tech guy is not here. Trying to do this on my own, still getting the hang of it. The buttons I can kind of push, but the prep work, getting it set up is a little bit more challenging for me. So thanks for your patience on that. So I do have a question real quick. Let's see. Have you heard anything builders indicating relief might be coming soon on the supply chain issues? My new build has been idle for weeks waiting on HVAC materials. Yeah. So good question. So yeah, the builders are still dealing with supply issues, whether it's the shipping of them or whether it's the manufacturing of them. For years, it's been appliances. It's still windows. We still have issues with that. Aluminum has been an issue. Screens have been an issue. So if you're waiting for pool screens or lanai screens, that's an issue. And yes, HVAC as well. So I was with a builder once and they talked about that for what they were missing was actually the coil within the ductwork. So not necessarily, the HVAC handler or anything themselves, but in some cases, it's literally little pieces of the component is what they're missing or is the challenge to get. So that's part of it. But yeah, I do think it's getting better. But yes, unfortunately, you are going to see things sitting idle. And sometimes it's not just the materials. Sometimes they're waiting on the inspector. So it's okay. It'll start moving. It'll start trucking along. And the good news is that once that HVAC is in, once you have your electrical, your plumbing, your HVAC, you've had your framing inspection and your windows are in, then it's time for your pre-drywall and things tend to go a little bit faster because there's fewer inspections that have to take place post pre-drywall. At that point, it's really the pretties on the inside. So hang in there. It'll happen. It will most definitely happen. Okay. All right. So the long drive. So we talked about that a little bit. So the second piece of this is, well, actually I wanted to go back to that because I also did the math. So for my son previously traveling here to come see us, was, like we said, it's like 17 hours to drive from where he was in Texas to where we are here in Florida. But when he moves to Virginia, it'll only be 11 hours. So a little bit better. So then it'll be like 773 miles-ish, and it'll take a little over 11 hours to drive it. But that's certainly a lot better than 17 plus. So we're excited about that. Mostly I'm just excited that I get to have him here for a little while. So, all right, so going back. So second topic of the What's Brewing. So the new listings. Okay, so we featured a video, I guess it was Thursday. We did a video on Thursday of a new listing that it was just going active. It was in the community of Cypress Oaks in Groveland. So yes, update on that one is it is under contract. We had a lot of showings pretty quickly. And we had a few offers pretty quickly. And sometimes people just jump on it a little bit faster than others. We talk about the market. It is still a seller's market. It's just not so cuckoo crazy. It's not quite the feeding frenzy. So things are taking a little bit longer. And I was just talking with a client last night on another listing. We have Carrie's home on the market. It is the beautiful one of the highest videos so far that we've posted here recently with the most activity. It was the home that had been completely renovated on the inside. New roof, new HVAC, new paint, interior, exterior, like literally everything, new windows, new doors. Everything in that home had been renovated and it was absolutely beautiful. And so we actually do have an offer on that one that as soon as this coffee time is over, Carrie, I'll be calling you and we'll go over those final details and we'll see if we can get that one locked up and under contract as well. We do have two other listings I just wanted to mention. One of them, I don't know if any of you are into maybe a luxury home, you know, multi-million or high 1 million, you know, plus price point, but there is a beautiful, beautiful home that is on the market, and it just needs a little bit of, I won't even say renovation. There's just some wall treatments that need to be removed in it. Some incomplete wallpaper treatments, or some wallpaper treatments that weren't done quite perfectly. So that just kind of needs to be addressed. But that home is still on the market. We did a huge price reduction on that one. It's very hard. Buyers in the, you know, originally it was over 2 million at the original list price. Beautiful, beautiful home on the lake, gorgeous pool with a grotto, like absolutely stunning. But that one can take a little bit longer to sell. We did have an offer at one point, and, you know, things fall through sometimes. So big price reduction on that one. And we have another listing getting ready to come on the market. I can't say too much about it just because legally we're not, you know, I can't give you the address or anything, but I will tell you it's a beautiful townhome in a Toll Brothers community here in the Horizon West area. So if you were looking, in fact, this particular seller used it really primarily as their own private vacation home. Because we are not zoned short-term rental here in this area, you cannot rent it out short-term. You cannot utilize it as an Airbnb or an investment property, but you can certainly use it as your own private vacation home, and that's exactly what they did. So just time for them to sell. So if you're interested in any of that, let me know. But you know, just talking about those listings kind of leads us to our the third topic here on seller basics. So it's really important to kind of go back. So with my listings, unless you happen to be Carrie's house and it was already so beautiful you didn't need the packet, we usually provide you with a listing packet of some things that you can do to your home. You know, some people truly live in their home, and, you know, tidiness perhaps and cleanliness is not necessarily the top of their list of priorities. And then there are some people who live in homes that look like model show homes all the time. But it's important when you put your home on the market. Whether you are in a crazy seller's market or whether you are in a buyer's market, it really doesn't matter. You always want and need your home to show at its best, especially if you were looking to get, you know, at, near, above asking price. You really need to make sure that the home shows well. So here are my tricks for you. I say, think of your 5 senses: your sight, your hearing, your smell, your touch, your taste, right? All of those need to come into play into your home as though you are a potential buyer or a potential realtor or someone walking into the home. So the first thing you're going to think about is, what is it that you see? Okay, and this is important. Do you see clutter? Do you see cleanliness? Do you see organization? Do you see a beautiful view, like straight out that front door, out through the back, and you see pool? Do you see conservation? You know, what is it that you see? Do you see a bunch of chipped paint? As soon as you walk in the door, do you see, you know, cracked tiles? What is it that you see? Make sure that you kind of take that visual perspective and kind of make it a little bit more calming and peaceful. You know, there's a lot of things you can do to make your entryway very welcoming. We talk about curb appeal, the driving up landscape, visibility aspect of it, but it doesn't stop there. As soon as you walk into that foyer, that's the next moment where a buyer is going to feel whether or not they are welcomed or whether or not they feel a little on edge. And people tell you it's when the first few seconds of seeing a home, they've kind of already made up their mind a little bit about whether or not it's going to be a contender. So keep that in mind. So sight. The next thing is smell. That's important too, because every home has some kind of a scent. And I have a crazy, wicked, awesome sense of smell. I should probably make money off of my nose. But I can smell anything. So sometimes that's a benefit. Sometimes it's a negative. But think about that when you're walking in. Do you have dogs? Does it smell like wet dog? Does it smell like cats who have relieved themselves on the carpets and it's that smell is still there? Do you cook with spicy food? Does your home kind of have that scent or that smell kind of lingering in? Have you painted recently? And so maybe it smells like fresh paint. Do you have the little plug-ins all over the home? And so it smells fragrant or fruity or flowery. Those things matter too. You want to think about that. Candles. Okay, so our friends Daryl and Jen, when they first moved here, we had one of our first big get-togethers at our house. And I absolutely love the Bath & Body Works candles, Spiced Apple Toddy. They have that around Christmas time, and that is my favorite. So I stock up on that bad boy. And every time they come over, it's my favorite holiday candle. And so every time Daryl would come over, he's like, it's Amy's house. So he associates that smell with my home, which is great because it's a pleasant smell. But it's important because when you're selling a home, you do want to make sure that you're enticing all of those senses in a positive way. So think about that, whether you have a candle lit, whether you have the little Febreze plugins or whatever all over the home, or if you need to maybe do some things to remove smells that maybe not so pleasant, like pets or spicy food or mold or mildew, things like that. Okay, so we have sight and we have smell. Taste. Okay, well, you're not really going to lick the house. That's probably not advisable, but you could actually consider, whether or not you have a snack basket. We have done those for open houses sometimes. You have a little snack basket with some like individually done things of chips, or sometimes people make the chocolate chip cookies. And so therefore they've hit two senses. You've got the smell in the home and you can have it to taste. But it's still an important one to consider. The next one is touch. And that's important because you might think, oh, people touching your walls. You know what? Maybe, but maybe they're handling, like if they put their hands down on your kitchen counter and your kitchen counter is sticky, or maybe they're putting the hand on the handrail as you go up the staircase and it's sticky, or maybe it's gross with hands all the way up it all the time. Those are the types of things that we don't necessarily think about when we're cleaning our home. It's important to kind of do all of those surfaces, because I have actually walked up a home before and we took our hand on the handrail and it felt very sticky. That doesn't leave a very good impression, right? So again, so what are you touching? Are the surfaces clean? Are they smooth? And then the last one is, what do you hear? And that's really important too, because sometimes we have outside environmental noises that we need to kind of camouflage. So let's say, for instance, you back up to a busy road. All right, so perfect example. I had some clients, they backed up to a relatively busy road. They had a pool, they screened in the pool, they did a water feature, they did lots of landscaping around it, and they had the surround sound out there. So all of that between the water feature and the surround sound and just kind of the natural buffer that they created, it really helped camouflage any of that noise. So that is important. So when people first walk into the home, if you have something where you need to kind of, and I don't say, like pretend like it doesn't exist. I mean, people are going to know that there's a road back there. But what you want to show them is that road is not going to be a concern hearing wise. You're not going to be able to sit out in your lanai and not enjoy your peaceful time out there because of trucks going by. We're trying to demonstrate to them that there's a way that you can accentuate that. I tell people that all the time. It's always a good idea to put, even if it's a small water feature in your pool, a little bubbler, or if it's a little waterfall or a big grotto, whatever it is you need, those are good things. So those are seller basics. Okay, so I know that was a little long, but I think that's really good. So if you take nothing away from this today, 5 senses, that's my little trick. I laugh because this morning I was thinking, oh my gosh, Eric's not here. Am I going to be able to do this? And I'm like, okay, the show must go on, like entertainment background, right? The show must go on. And that's kind of important, right? The show must go on. So the show went on, doing it without Eric, and I hope I did okay. All right, so let's do a couple of quick questions. Oh, and by the way, though, speaking of the show, so my listing guide is very corny because the whole thing is written out as though it is a show. And that's what we're doing. We're getting your home show ready. So the entertainment background kind of helped play in that. All right, so let's see if there are a few. I'm going to see some of these comments. Okay, so Sonia, do you see prices for older resale homes coming down? The reality is it just depends on what they were priced for originally. It's so hard because we're in a little bit of a transition. Again, we're still in the seller's market. We are. But it is transitioning between the interest rates going up, between people that are not necessarily in the know. Like, the average consumer, the average seller may not really be able to see on a day-to-day basis exactly what's happening with prices. And we don't know what homes have closed for until they have officially closed. And so sometimes what you're seeing is 30 days later. So we have to make sure that you're paying attention to what's happening all throughout that time period. So if you have priced your home correctly, and if you've priced it where you feel it will appraise, then you're probably going to be good. And I don't see those prices necessarily going down because I still think that the demand is out there. But if you have priced it too high, then you're probably going to see a lack of foot traffic because at this point there is enough opportunity that they're not going to be, desperate to have that one specific home. So I don't really know that it'll go down if it's priced correctly. But yes, if they priced it too high, I'm already seeing that. Some of these that we've referenced on our Sunday drives, not my listings, but some of those that we have seen where they just price them way up in the heavens with no way to kind of qualify that type of a list price, those are the ones going down. And it's because they were way too high to begin with. And, you know, people are a little bit more savvy, and they have to be, because now with interest rates going up, they have to pay a little bit more attention, and they're not just going to throw their money out like they were a few months ago. Okay, but thank you for that question. That was good. Let's see, any other questions? So let's see. Well, hi, Kennard. So one of our lovely professional partners, Kennard, is here. He is an absolute pleasure to work with. He takes such good care of our clients. He is the beautiful soul they're getting ready to have a baby, by the way. He is the one that will get out there and take those photos for our clients who have homes under construction. We have had to enlist some help because things sometimes, there's just not enough hours in the day, and Kennard has been an absolute godsend for that. So thank you, Kennard, for that. Furman, hey, from the Philippines. I love it. My gosh, where do we have? We have Sydney and Rob. Sonia, we said hello. Eric. Okay, Eric. Oh. Okay, so Eric says, how do you know if you've priced your home too high? Hint, hint. Okay, well, part of what we just talked about. It's probably not selling. You're probably not getting the foot traffic that you want. And that matters, right? It really is important to have that information. There we go again. There we go. All right, sorry, I came back again. My screen keeps going blank for some reason. So it's really important to make sure that you're keeping the appraisal in mind, and it's important to make sure that you are using sold comps. You cannot look at what your neighbors have priced their home for and necessarily assume anymore that they were given good advice. Because if you see a neighbor that's got their home listed cuckoo crazy numbers and you're like, oh my gosh, somebody professional evaluated that home and says it's worth that much, mine must be worth that much, and then they list it cuckoo crazy high too. Well, now all of a sudden we got two cuckoo crazies out there. Neither of them are going to sell. And it makes the whole neighborhood then feel like it's a letdown if a realtor comes in and gives them the real advice, which is, well, here is what the comps are going to support. This is, even taking into consideration the market itself, all of that matters. So it's important. Just do your due diligence and make sure you have a realtor. I got to get to Katie over here because I see my friend Katie. So Katie, good morning. We are curious if you know what is happening with the lots on Lake Hickory Nut and Waterley. Meaning what's happening with the lots. I think I might need a little bit more information. I'll text you later. But let's talk about Waterley for a minute, because I have right here, look at this. Look at this. This is the releases that they just had. This is the new construction releases that Waterley just had. So as we talk about, the supply and demand issue, and it's starting to get a little bit more skewed. And so now people are not quite as desperate. Here we go. This is an example. So they have 6 Laurels, 6 Cordales, 5 Bell Lakes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think it's 9 if I counted right. 9 Cleardons, an Arbor, a Belmore, 2 Cresswells, 3 Kentons, 2 Torreys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Seacliffs, 1 Selden, 5 Kalins, 1 North Haven. And then they've got some of their townhomes are being released too. These are all released. Are they complete? No, they're not completed homes, but these are homes that are released for sale. So that should tell you that in one community, you have a hot number of homes that are getting ready to come on the market. So Waterley is still my favorite community. Katie, I don't know if you know this, but this is where my daughter and son-in-law just purchased a home in there. So I'm going to be there all the time. Well, I already am there all the time, but that'll be nice. They're moving out of this neighborhood and into Waterley. So that's going to be great. Let's see. Oh, liminally. I've read that agents sometimes hate when listings have a ton of color, painted rooms, etc. Do you find that buyers prefer a blank canvas? That is an excellent question. So yes, candidly speaking, yes, it's a lot more conducive to a buyer visualizing themselves in that home if the palette is neutral. And here's a perfect example. Even though my son bought it and we didn't really hesitate, but it was because the home he wanted, and you know, everyone has their emotional. We always talk about monetary value and emotional value. There was huge emotional value for my son to purchase the home that he did in Virginia. However, if you look at the photos, there is like, there's like a room, and I have to pull this because it's probably about, there's a room that's like this color. Well, maybe not. It's actually deeper. It's more like reddish, right? Red. Then there's another room that has like a deep, deep, deep forest green. And those have to be painted. That's the first thing we're doing, is putting an entire neutral palette back into that home. So if you are thinking of selling, if you have an accent wall or two, I think that's fine. Those aren't really deterrents in any way. But if you have what I call Easter eggs, and there are some of those, we've seen them where every single room has its own bold color, nothing feels very cohesive, and they're not necessarily calming colors. They're kind of energizing, and some people might think stressful colors. If you can paint things neutral, great. There's a lot of people that have the mindset, oh, well, I don't want to paint it because I'd rather the seller just paint it the color, or the buyer just paint it the color they want once they move in. That's a fine way to think as well. But if you're asking a heck of a lot for your home, then you might want to consider making sure it's a neutral palette so that you're not having a buyer incur that expense as well. So great question. Let's see. What else do we have? More questions. Rob wants to know where I find my listings. Well, people call me, right? I do not do the typical marketing. It's against kind of who I am, as I'm a true introvert by nature. This is totally fine. I can do this all day long. I love people. I'm with you, but I can't impose myself upon you. That's not who I am. It makes me very, very uncomfortable. So with the help of the YouTube channel, obviously, Heart and Home Orlando, all the different video tours that we have, past clients, referrals, I've been doing this long enough now that we've been able to get that referral network in place, and we do marketing and things ourselves. We do a lot of things in our area. But yeah, I think if you ask most people, it's because of whatever marketing we have in place, whether it's that they found me through the YouTube channel or whether it's that they found me, through a mailer or something like that we may have done. One of the new listings I have, the townhome that's getting ready to go on the market, that was directly a result of the gentleman stumbling on my videos and realized I lived in the same area. And I will say it's nice to have a realtor list that's in your same area that actually knows it, so that they can give you a little bit more accurate advice. But good question. Thank you, Rob. Hi, Jim Federico. How are you? You are going to be closing soon. Let's see. Katie, I'll double check on that. The ones that are still empty in the back of phase 2. I'm going to have to check on that one because I have to look at the map and see where we are. Let's see. Any other questions in here? I'm not sure. Sydney, yes, we're going back 5 census. So we're going to go back over some of those. We talked about the seller basics. We're going to go over buyer basics as well here pretty soon. Hello, Monica from Indiana. I'm going back through and scrolling. Rob, you had a question too about love to see the pool built. Yes. So if you did not already know this, we are doing a video series of us building our home. We've already been doing the footage and the drone as it has progressed. So much like we did that little series about building this home that I'm in, we're also doing that series building our pool. We're making more and more progress, although it's been stagnant again for another week. But we do have the tile that's kind of around it now. We're definitely making some headway. I think the next piece for us is the rock work. And they say that the rock work needs to happen because it's very messy. So they won't do the pavers and like the travertine and the rest of the process until the rock work is done because it's so messy. And then just a little hint, by the way. So remember earlier we had the question about whoops, that's not the ticker I wanted. Sorry. We had the question about building material issues, and I talked about screens. So screens are actual delays. So you have pool codes that you have to have for child safety. So if you are not doing a screen on your pool, which you don't have to in Florida, you don't have to screen enclosure the whole pool area. But if you don't, then there are codes with your window and door alarms, with self-latching gates, fences around the property. So you have to comply with those. So in our case, we may be delayed with our screen. So even if we get our pool built and we're able to utilize it, we can only do so. They won't fill the pool until it's past that safety code inspection. So we actually are having them do the footers for the screen so that the screen prep work will be ready for when the screen material actually arrives. And we have switched the latches on our fence to comply with that gate aspect of it, so that we can go ahead and finish the pool, fill the pool, enjoy the pool, and then when the screen comes in, we'll be able to do that. So, but don't worry, we are going to do a pool series on that one as well. All right, let me see if there's any other questions in here. Eric. Oh, Eric, you were responding. You were responding to Rob. We provide an individual property search that gives them the listings right to their email. Oh, okay. Yeah. You know, maybe that's what you were asking. So maybe I misunderstood your question. My apologies. Yes. If you are a client and you are looking to purchase a home, here, one of the first things we do, you fill out your paperwork that we have you fill out. We have our phone call. And then if you want to be set up on a property search, then we will issue that through the MLS. Better than looking at Zillow and Realtor.com. Those websites are fine if you're just doing it for information gathering, but the information is not in real time. So if you are in a time crunch and you're looking for a home, you don't want to be looking on Zillow to find it. You need to have your realtor set you up on a property search so that the moment a home goes active on the market that meets your criteria, that it will be automatically sent to you. You'll receive that alert that a property has just been listed that could be a good fit for you. And that way we don't waste valuable time of you being able to do it. I get lots of clients that will send me, for whatever reason, they still send me on the phone. They will send me, look at this home I found on Zillow. And I'm like, okay, great. So I look at it on Zillow and it's active, but then I go to look at it on the MLS and it's pending. So again, there's that time discrepancy, is a disconnect there. And I think it's important if you are truly in the throes of trying to find a home to make sure you're having your realtor assist you with that property search. Let's see, liminally, are there any particular building materials that typically hold up the process more than others? Yes, it kind of at every different phase. One of the first ones, block. Okay, well, you can't really start building your home until you have the concrete block. So block can be an issue. Then the next one is the trusses. So, again, all kind of basic building materials, right? The block and the wood and the trusses. And then as we go through, as our other viewer mentioned earlier about the HVAC material, windows has been an absolute nightmare for most of the builders all the way around. And that is usually where we're seeing the most delays. Last check, it was like a 20-week lead time, and that was months ago. So it may be longer now, or it may have eased up a little bit. But for the homes that we have under construction, that really is the biggest timeline delay. If you are building a pool, it is the tile. The pavers, some of those are issues as well. So it just really depends on what you're building. But yeah, pretty much expect some kind of a delay for whatever material is in there. All right, guys, you getting bored? Are you ready for me to go now? Let me do a quick scroll just to see if there's any other questions that I may have missed. Let's see. Oh, I love it. Hi, Lisa. Susie Q again. Oh, wait, Susie Q. I was going to answer your question. I'm going to go back to that, and then I'll let you guys go for the morning. Okay, so Susie Q had asked in one of our other coffee times, she had asked about if there were any other costs associated with building new construction other than the lot premium, and the answer is yes. So if you were to truly do a typical build from dirt build process, then you definitely have the base price of the home, the exterior elevation. There's going to be, like if the home says it's starting at 500, one of those elevations is going to be 500. All the other ones, probably more peaks, more gables, more stonework, front porch. Those are going to have additional costs that go with them. And so that's going to be something you'll need to account for. So the base price of the home, the exterior elevation, the lot premium, which again can be anything from $2,000 to $200,000 and anywhere in between. Just depends on the community. And then, of course, you're going to have your structural options, things like, do you want 8-foot tall doors throughout the home? Do you want a pre-plumb for laundry sinks? Do you want to use, instead of that 3-bedroom plus a flex option, do you want to make that the 4-bedroom version? There's going to be a cost associated with that. Do you want to add the bonus room option? Those are all structurals, and that's going to add to the price of your home as well. And then the final thing that's going to add to the price of your home is going to be the design options. Whether it is a design package that the builder has set up for you and you can pick from eeny, meeny, miny, mo, or whether or not it's a true a la carte design center experience. You're going to have some cost incurred there as well as to whether or not you want to, you know, extend flooring all throughout the first floor so that you don't have carpet in the family room. Maybe you want that wood plank flooring. Those are the types of things that extend it. So remember my trick, which is take the base price of the home and add about 15% to that base price. That's not going to include the lot premium. I used to include the lot premium, but they're so far skewed right now. That's going to be a separate number. But take the base price, add 15%, and you're probably going to be a little bit more realistically in line with where you're going to be price point wise. All right, guys, I bet you guys are getting bored. My phone's digging at me over here because my work day needs to start. So let me double check. Hi, Adele. Hi, Chris. Oh, when do you think the new Dreamfinders will be ready in Independence? I don't know. Everything is taking so long. All right, guys. Ricardo, if I didn't get to say hi to you, I'm going to say hi to you now. Guys, as always, we really, really, really appreciate you guys watching. It is so nice to be able to start my week and my Monday mornings with you all with my little cup of coffee, which now I need to go heat back up on the microwave. But I do appreciate you guys watching. If you have questions, let me know. You can still put them here, or you can meet me next Monday and we'll do our next coffee time. Other than that, remember, please stay safe, stay well. Remember, we love you. We really do. Happy house hunting.